everyone, and welcome back to English Practice Podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Ben. So happy you decided to spend the next 20 minutes with us today.
If you enjoy what we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us reach more learners like you.
Yes, thank you so much for the support. Every single subscriber means the world to us.
Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to have a real, natural conversation, the kind you might overhear in a coffee shop, and we'll teach you useful expressions along the way.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll pick up vocabulary for talking about weekends, plans, small frustrations, and even some idioms that native speakers use all the time.
This matters because real conversations don't sound like textbooks. When you meet someone at work, at a party, or while traveling, they'll speak the way we're going to speak today.
And honestly, Emma, this is the part of English I struggled with the most when I was learning other languages. I could read novels, but small talk? A complete disaster.
Really? You always sound so relaxed when you chat with people.
Oh, that's an act. Inside, I'm scrambling. You know that feeling when someone asks a simple question and your mind just goes blank?
Yes, that happened to me last week. Someone asked me how my weekend was, and I just froze. I ended up saying, "Fine, thanks," like a robot.
See, that's such a missed opportunity. There are so many better ways to answer that question.
Okay, let's start there. If someone asks, "How was your weekend?" what would you say instead of just "fine"?
You could say, "It was pretty relaxing," or "It flew by," or "It was a bit hectic, actually."
I love "it flew by." That means it went really fast, right?
Exactly. When time flies, it passes quickly because you're enjoying yourself or you're really busy. My whole Sunday flew by because I was binge-watching a series.
Ah, and binge watching is another great one. That's when you watch many episodes in a row without stopping.
Guilty as charged. I watched 6 episodes back to back. My eyes were burning by the end.
Back to back is such a useful expression, too. It means one after another, with no break in between.
Right. I had 3 meetings back to back yesterday, and I didn't even have time for coffee.
For me, my weekend was the opposite. It was pretty low-key. I stayed in, read a book, made some soup.
Low-key is a nice one. It means calm, not intense. Nothing fancy.
Yes, and it's very casual. You wouldn't write it in a formal email, but with friends, it's perfect.
What would be a more formal way to say the same thing?
You could say, "I had a quiet weekend," or "I had a peaceful weekend at home." Same idea, but neutral in any context.
Listeners, think about your last weekend for a second. Was it hectic, low-key, or did it fly by? Try answering in your head using one of those expressions.
That's a great little exercise. And notice how one simple question can open up so many directions.
Speaking of directions, my weekend took an unexpected one. I was supposed to go hiking with a friend, but she bailed at the last minute.
Oh no! To bail means to cancel plans suddenly, right?
Yes, and usually in a way that lets the other person down. It's informal. If she had told me a week before, I'd just say she canceled.
There's a difference in tone there. Canceling is neutral. Bailing suggests it was last minute and a bit annoying.
Exactly. And when it happens repeatedly, we say someone is flaky. A flaky friend is one who often changes plans or doesn't show up.
I have a friend like that. I've learned to always have a backup plan when we make arrangements.
That's smart. What did you end up doing when your original plan fell through?
Oh, fell through is another good one. When plans fall through, they don't happen as intended.
I use that one all the time. Our vacation fell through because of the flight prices.
In my case, nothing fell through, but I did have to reschedule a dentist appointment because I overslept.
Overslept? You? The queen of morning routines?
I know, I was shocked too. I usually wake up at 6, but on Saturday, I opened my eyes and it was already 10:30.
10:30 is basically the middle of the day for you. What happened?
I think I was just exhausted from the week. My body needed it. And once in a while, sleeping in feels amazing.
Sleeping in is a phrase every learner should know. It means to stay in bed later than usual on purpose or by accident.
And it's different from oversleeping. When you sleep in, it's usually intentional and enjoyable. When you oversleep, it's a mistake and you're often late for something.
That's a subtle difference, but important. If I say I slept in on Sunday, it sounds pleasant. If I say I overslept on Monday, it sounds stressful.
Perfect distinction. Let's play with this a bit. Ben, do you prefer to sleep in on weekends or wake up early?
Honestly, I'm a total night owl. I stay up late, so I sleep in whenever I can.
And I'm the exact opposite. I'm an early bird. I love the quiet of the morning.
See, this is a beautiful vocabulary pair. Night owl and early bird. Two contrasting habits, two clear images.
They come from birds, of course. Owls are active at night, and small birds start singing at dawn.
The proverb goes, "The early bird catches the worm," meaning the person who starts early gets the best results.
Which is why I always get the best pastries at the bakery. By the time night owls arrive, everything good is gone.
That's cold, Emma. Very cold.
Just a friendly reminder to set an alarm.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. I want to talk about small talk itself, because listeners often tell us this is one of the hardest things in English.
Absolutely. And there's actually a formula for it. Most small talk revolves around a few safe topics: weather, weekend plans, work, and hobbies.
The weather is the classic one. It's freezing out there today, isn't it?
Or, we finally got some sunshine. Notice how we often add a little tag question to invite the other person to respond.
Isn't it? Aren't they? Hasn't it? These are conversation openers disguised as questions.
They're brilliant because they're low pressure. The other person can just agree, and the conversation starts flowing.
If you're at a bus stop and you want to start a chat, try, "This rain is never ending, is it?" You'll get an answer 9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10 is a nice expression. It means almost always, but not guaranteed.
I use it constantly. 9 times out of 10, I forget where I put my keys.
Relatable. Now, another small talk topic: work. If someone asks, "What do you do?" they mean, "What's your job?"
And a common mistake is answering with too much detail. You don't need to describe your entire company structure.
A good, simple answer would be, "I work in marketing," or "I'm a nurse," or "I teach kids."
If you want to sound more natural, you can add a little detail. "I'm a nurse. I work in a pediatric hospital, so mostly with children."
That gives the other person something to grab onto and ask a follow-up question.
And follow-up questions are where the magic happens. That's what turns small talk into a real conversation.
Some great follow-ups. How did you get into that? Do you enjoy it? Have you been doing that for long?
How did you get into that is such a good one. It invites a story.
Listeners, pause for a moment and think. If someone asked you, "How did you get into your job or your studies?" how would you answer? Try forming a short answer in your head.
Even 1 or 2 sentences. "I got into it because a friend recommended it," or "I got into it by accident, actually."
That last one is fun. By accident means it wasn't planned. It just happened.
A lot of great things happen by accident, I think.
Should we talk about some common mistakes learners make with this kind of conversational English?
Yes, let's do it. I think this could save people a lot of awkward moments.
First one, and I hear this all the time. Instead of saying, "How was your weekend?" learners often say, "How passed your weekend?"
That's a direct translation from other languages. In English, we use was or did you have. How was your weekend? Or did you have a good weekend?
Simple fix, but so common. Second mistake, answering, "How are you?" with a long explanation.
In English, how are you is usually a greeting, not a real question. The expected answer is short. Good, thanks. You?
If you want to actually share how you're feeling, wait for a deeper question like, "How have you been?" or "What's new?"
Third one, using actually to mean currently. Learners often say, actually, I live in Madrid, meaning right now.
In English, actually means in fact or in reality. To say currently, we use at the moment, right now, or these days.
So I currently live in Madrid becomes I live in Madrid at the moment, or these days I'm living in Madrid.
Fourth mistake, being too negative in casual conversation. When someone asks how you are, saying, "Terrible, everything is awful," can be a conversation killer.
Even if your day is bad, a light, oh, it's been one of those days, works better. It's honest, but leaves room for the other person to respond warmly.
One of those days is a lovely expression. It suggests things aren't going smoothly without going into detail.
Fifth one, forgetting to ask back. If someone asks, how was your weekend? And you just answer, you might seem uninterested.
Always bounce it back. "It was nice, thanks. How about yours?" That keeps the conversation alive.
And listeners, don't stress if you make these mistakes. Every single one of them is completely normal, and native speakers will still understand you.
Absolutely. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. Now, should we do a quick practice dialogue to bring this all together?
Great idea. Let's pretend we're two colleagues meeting on a Monday morning by the coffee machine.
"Hey, Ben. Morning. How was your weekend?"
Oh, it flew by, honestly. I had a friend visiting from out of town, so it was pretty hectic. How about yours?
Mine was really low key. I finally slept in on Saturday, which felt amazing.
Lucky you. I'm such a night owl that sleeping in never feels enough. Any exciting plans for this week?
Not really. Just work and a yoga class on Wednesday. What about you?
I was supposed to go to a concert on Thursday, but it might fall through. The tickets are ridiculous.
Oh no. Well, I hope it works out. All right, I'd better get to my desk. Catch up later?
Sounds good. Have a great one.
Okay, let's break that down. Did you notice how we used almost every expression from today?
We had flew by, hectic, low key, slept in, night owl, fall through, all in one short exchange.
And the structure was very natural. Greeting, question, answer, bounce back, small detail, close.
If you can master that pattern, you can handle small talk in almost any English-speaking environment.
Let's do a quick review of today's key vocabulary before we wrap up.
Perfect. First, to fly by. When time flies by, it passes quickly. The morning flew by.
Hectic, meaning very busy and a bit stressful. My schedule is hectic this month.
Low key, meaning calm and casual. We had a low-key dinner at home.
To sleep in, meaning to stay in bed later than usual on purpose. I love sleeping in on Sundays.
To oversleep, meaning to sleep longer than intended and often be late. I overslept and missed my train.
Night owl and early bird. A night owl stays up late. An early bird wakes up early.
To bail, meaning to cancel plans at the last minute. He bailed on dinner again.
To fall through, meaning plans that don't happen as expected. Our trip fell through.
And one of those days. A nice way to say things aren't going smoothly. Sorry, it's just one of those days.
All right, quick recap of everything we covered today. We explored natural ways to talk about your weekend, small talk basics, and common mistakes to avoid.
And the most important takeaway, I think, is that real conversation is about connection, not perfection. Ask, answer, and bounce it back.
That simple pattern will carry you through countless conversations.
All right, time for the moment we love. It's question of the day time.
Yes, this is the part where we hear from you. Today's question is, are you more of a night owl or an early bird? And how do you usually spend your weekends?
I'll go first. I'm definitely a night owl, and my weekends are usually pretty hectic because I try to fit everything I missed during the week into 2 days.
And I'm an early bird, and my weekends are low-key. I love slow mornings with tea and a book.
If you want an easy way to start your answer, try this sentence starter. I'm more of a... and then add your own weekend detail.
If the night owl and early bird question doesn't quite fit you, you can also tell us about your favorite weekend activity.
Drop your answer in the comments below. Even one sentence is great. Don't worry about mistakes. We all learn by trying.
We read every single comment, and we genuinely love seeing where you're all from and how you spend your time.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Your support means everything.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who's learning English.
And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. That little bell makes a huge difference.
Remember, every conversation you have in English, even a small one, is a step forward. You're doing better than you think.
So next time someone asks how your weekend was, don't freeze. Just breathe, smile, and let the conversation flow.
Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Keep practicing.